Hello everybody, this is Dave the Rave roving the rock, and today I'm at Glenkiln in Lamlash on the Isle of Arran, and the reason I'm here is because I'm going to go and find Benlister Falls. Benlister Falls is one of the bigger waterfalls of Arran, and it's described recently, a few months ago, in a story about it in the Arran Banner as Arran's undiscovered falls, because it's inaccessible. It has been inaccessible for half a century, and most people don't even know it's there. In fact, I've spoken to a lot of people that even live in Lamlash, and I haven't spoken to any who have seen it whatsoever, and almost none of them have ever heard of it, because you can't get to it. There's no path to it. It's 2 miles up the Benlister glen, following the Benlister burn, and that's where I am here. A bit windy, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm at the Benlister burn, it's right in front of me. I'm interested in that because I've come here today deliberately because it was raining very heavily last night till about 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's good for me because I want to see the waterfall with plenty of water in it. At the top of the Benlister burn is a hydroelectric station, and that does take a bit of water from the burn. I was speaking to Kenny Bone just a minute ago actually, because I've just arrived and he passed me in his car and we had a wee chat, and he was telling me he has taken some water from it for the hydroelectric, which is a terrific clean source of power, and I think that's just great actually. But with so much rain, he said it only takes a small fraction of the water anyway, and there's so much in the burn anyway, really it's still going to be quite a heavy flow, and I can see that it's in front of me now. It's a good flow, so this is a good plan. The only problem with that is it's an unmarked path, so it's going to be very boggy. For that reason I've got my best kit with me today. I'll show you. I've got my Calmac bonnet, I've got my Calmac jacket with the Sexy Dave badge of course there, so that anybody will know who I am if I fall and they discover my body or something like that. Oh, it's okay, it's Sexy Dave, that's fine. And I've got my boots as well, my Calmac boots, so I should be ready for anything. It keeps me dry at work, so I'm hoping it'll keep me dry and warm going up there. And it is cold today, by the way, even though it's April. This is about 9:30 in the morning. My fingers are cold, so that's one thing I didn't bring in this. I should have actually, is gloves, surprisingly, because it was quite stormy last night. It was still windy just now, and there's still that nip in the air, but maybe it'll warm up as I get on. At least it's not raining now though, so that's nice. So I'm looking forward to this. I haven't been to the falls. I'm another person that hasn't, and I've been almost everywhere. I run everywhere and I walk everywhere. I looked up on the internet to see how many other people had been to the falls. I'm told that there's one fella, Tush in Lamlash, and he takes a lot of photos, I know that, and he's been there. Kenny was telling me that, but that's the only person he knows of that's taken any photos, and there's no film. So I looked on Google. The only photo I found one photo of it, and that was when it was almost no water and it wasn't really a good photo, and the black and white one that the Arran Banner had put in the paper, and that tells a tale in itself. The fact that they had to put a black and white picture in from the 1950s, I think, in the Arran Banner story about the waterfall, because there were no other pictures to put in, just this one from a postcard, a very old postcard. So really nobody's seen it, and that's how it was described. Inaccessible. So hopefully it's going to be accessible to me. I'm going up there now, and I'm looking forward to this. In fact, it might be the best walk I've been on in a long time. So I've just stopped. I'm part of the way up, maybe halfway, and I'm right beside the Benlister burn here, and it does look nice. It's like the Benlister rapids in front of me, just rushing down towards where I've come from, and it does look good. It's making a fair bit of noise. It's nice to see. In front of me it looks like a nice bit of forest and path. It's just sheep's trails that I'm following. That looks nice. Very boggy underfoot, but I would expect that after all the rain. In contrast, what I've just come through is just a massive bracken, endless bracken, and it's all died down for the winter happily. So it's easier to see where you're going. You can get through it more easily, but it's just starting to come back up now. So there's nothing else really growing here apart from that, and I can see the odd wee green shoot, so it's just starting to come up again now, but it hasn't quite managed to surface. So everywhere I look there's this brown of last year's dead bracken lying about, and it was quite difficult to see which way to go, but this bit here will be easier because it's just grass and you can make out the paths much more easily. So I'm looking forward to this, and it's quite pretty with the forest and the trees the way it is, and the river. It's quite nice. Hills high above me, right up in the top there, even higher than the one I can see. The peak is where the hydro comes from, and right round, encircling me really, just hills everywhere, Benlister Valley. Okay, I'll carry on. I've got a lot of these little rivers to cross over. There's one here. It's a good thing that I did wear my council boots. Council boots I call them, Calmac boots. I need them. There's no way you'd be able to do this or you'd lose your shoe. So I did the right thing, and I've tied them on tight. Right, I'll get on. Another thing I would say while I'm walking around here, as I said, I spoke to Kenny Bowen at the bottom of the path, of the road. Just by chance he was going past in his car, and that was lucky. And he told me that he'd applied for permission to put a path up here, and that's why it was in the Arran Banner, because he was wanting to open it up to the public and let people come to where I am. But he got refused for that, so credit to him for trying. That was a nice idea, and to let people see this, but he didn't get it. So it still remains inaccessible and will remain inaccessible, apart from one or two intrepid explorers, as I used to call Sally the Teenage Westie when she came with me places. She was the intrepid explorer, and dog detective. That's what I called her, my little intrepid dog detective. So I'm doing that myself today. She wouldn't have made it this far anyway, it's too difficult. And we're getting rapids on the side now, which is nice to see. Quite a lot of them. I'll just try and get a bit closer without falling in. Definitely don't want to do that. Wait 1 second. There, right. Another one down there. So one down there, one in front of me, looking good by the way. I like the look of that. A lot of water in there. That's pretty. Like it's been made that way, all the white water bubbling through, just perfectly bubbling right across the whole width of it. And if I go a bit further, more little rapids there, and I can see a couple of little waterfalls coming up. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm getting closer. I'll put the camera back on in a second when I get round this corner. Okay, round the corner, revealed another little waterfall going right across the full length of the fall. So there's a whole succession of waterfalls here. That one's quite nice, really nice and uniform. And then in front of it, more rapids as well. Very steep hills in front of me. And then it goes out of sight round the corner. I'll carry on and I'll keep putting this on every time I come across more water until I get to the big one. Gosh, look at the view I've got of the burn below me there. That's vertical. This is a cliff I'm standing on. Straight down. What a view. This would be a viewpoint. My goodness, you can see all the way along it. Magnificent. Just little waterfalls, little rapids. Not at the big one yet, but that is just amazing. What a nice spot to stop at. Of course you've got the soundtrack as well of the river. It's just great. Gotta watch because that's the very edge of it right there. So I'm not putting my foot any closer. That's the edge of a cliff. Right, okay. Being careful here, Davey. Sensible Dave, got my Sensible Dave hat on. Okay, carrying on. Okay, still making my way along. The river's quite far below me at the moment because the path's risen up. And interestingly, in front of me is some kind of a post. A really solid post. I'm just going to see. Concrete. Rock solid, standing on its own. I can't see any sign of anything else around here at all. Nothing. No sign of any fence or gate or anything. Just one sentry standing there alone. Entirely isolated. And I wonder what it's doing. That must have had a purpose. That's a very small post as well. What's that, about 3 foot high? But big, you know, like sturdy, solid. Someone's gone to some trouble to put that there a long time ago, and it's all that's left. There's a story there. Well, I've come to another little turn in the burn here, and it's quite fast at this point. The rocks bring it in from both sides, so it's firing straight down this narrow channel, and it's quite speedy. I'm sure if I went in there I wouldn't be able to control anything. I'd be completely out of control. It would just shoot me away. And then there's a succession of little rapids in front of it as well. So this is a nice wee spot. You can imagine something just going flying down there. I don't know if a person would be safe to do that or not. I'm not going to try it. I'll be freezing anyway. Anyway, there we go. That's what I've got to now. And there's another wee series of rapids here. Just looking great. Any of these, if you had a chair beside them, it would just be lovely. I'm looking up, more rapids there. And then, when I look towards the corner, far away, I'll just try and get closer. I can see the water's going quite fast around the corner, so I think I'm coming to something now. I think I'm starting to get closer to the falls. I've seen it from a distance. I know there are several small falls and then the big one at the top. I think I'm coming to the smaller ones now. Anyway, keep going, fingers crossed. Right, if I don't see anything else in this walk, it'd be worth it just to see this. A beautiful white waterfall in front of me. Just side to side, perfectly going, sliding down the slope, running and sliding. And then another one right above it, perfectly black and clear, falling in total symmetry. A straight line right across the river. No white whatsoever, just sliding vertically, but following the rock surface because it's maybe at 80 degrees, almost vertical. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a perfect little waterfall. I'm loving this, I really am. Okay, I've got to this one. This one's quite impressive. A two-part waterfall, small upper part and a bigger lower part. Lots of white water running down it. This is a good waterfall. If it was anywhere else, you know, people would come just to see this, but I know it's not the big one. It's not the biggest waterfall. But I'll film it anyway just on the way up. There's a plunge pool there as well. You could go swimming in there, it'd be lovely. Wonderful. It's just spoilt for choice. So many little waterfalls. This is another one. Lovely white bubbling water bubbling over top, and then right beside it another one, fast flowing, really narrow, going to a little rocky channel, speeding through, noisy, just great. And I know this isn't the big waterfall yet. There's just so many falls on the way up. Wonderful. Listen to that. Okay, this is the next waterfall. So that's the little rocky channel I was talking about in front of me. The water's flying through there. And then if I look up a bit, a whole succession of waterfalls. Full of water, water thundering down. And I can see another waterfall further up, which is rushing down on top of this one. It's just a whole series of waterfalls. Wonderful. I've never seen so many waterfalls in one place. One after another after another. Impressive. Side to side, white water, full of life, and full of noise. This is great. This would be the waterfall for me if I didn't know there's another one even bigger further up. I would have thought this was it. But it isn't. It isn't the waterfall. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to find it a little bit further up there. Yes, I am. Okay. Well, onwards and upwards. Right, this is the best one of the lot so far. What is that? About 50 feet high. Water all the way across it. White following down, coming down about 80 degrees, following the rocks, but still bubbling down and crashing down all the way down. A beautiful waterfall. It could be a painting, just looking at that. So I don't even know how many times I've stopped for these waterfalls so far. This one's the best so far, but there've been so many. I just can't believe it, to be honest. I've never seen so many. The sun's come out, it's just gorgeous here. And the sound of the water, just amazing. And I know there's another waterfall above this. I'm going to carry on up. Otherwise I would stop here and I would have thought this was Benlister Falls. But I don't think it is. Okay, this is the next one. I said I'd film them all on the way up. I'm doing that. And there's that one that was just up in front of me, tumbling down. See all the way down the valley there. Just gorgeous. And right up to the hilltops. Beautiful day now. Just perfect. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm also nervous because I've had to come over some treacherous terrain, very boggy landscape to get here, and I don't have good footwear. My footwear's just Carmike boots and they're not really made for this, but it's been worth it. I'm loving it. And I've still got another one to go. Okay, I came along this slope here. It's so steep where I am. I've actually dug my heels in just to make sure I don't go sliding down. But guess what? I'm at the waterfall. I'm right beside it. That's the main fall there. I couldn't really be any closer. Start at the bottom. There's a little fall down there. The first of the three little falls. Oh sorry, it's down there actually. Right to the left. All the little falls down there. And then we get to that bit there, which is where the water's sliding at 45 degrees over the rock. And then we get over to the right for the main fall, cascading vertically down. I can see it through the branches of the trees. From the bottom to the top. And the little one above it. Isn't that great? Right, let's just say it again. Benlister Falls. That is Benlister Falls. That's the main fall. It's in state because we had so much rain overnight. It looks magnificent. The water's crashing down on the rocks below. Beautiful. I've never been here. Almost certainly you've never been here. And we are here together right now. And most of the people watching this will never be here. But you can see it today, and you can see it in its glory. And that river is generating electricity as well, which is a nice thing to think about. I can see why Kenny Bone would have wanted to open this up to the public. It's magnificent. Below me is just a vertical drop. That's why I'm digging in. It makes me feel a little bit giddy looking down there, because I know I'm kind of safe but on the edge of a precipice, if you know what I mean. So I'm just, I am being careful. I've dug my feet in, I'm not moving, I'm sitting down. I'm going nowhere. But it does make me nervous because I know how high I am. Isn't that wonderful? I'll maybe just stop talking for a second and we can just listen to this. Okay, I've managed to come a bit lower. I'm well chuffed. I've been on both sides of this waterfall. I've filmed it from over there in that banking. I've filmed it from up there in those trees. And now I'm down here right beside it. And it's an unobstructed view, it's perfect. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not looking through trees anymore. I'm halfway down the falls. I can see the whole thing. It's the best view. Dave the Rave, roving the rock. Benlister Falls. Proudest punch, to be honest. Right, I'm going to do what I said before, but this time with a better view. I'm just not going to say anything for a little bit. And you're back in the room. Under a trance. It's just great. I'm so chuffed. I remember walking to the bottom of Eastmore Waterfall and filming that, and that was magnificent as well. And that was largely unknown. This is more unknown. Almost everybody doesn't even know this exists. This is terrific. This is a secret waterfall. This is my secret waterfall right now, and your secret waterfall, because you're seeing it too. A little bit of danger, a little bit of secrecy, a little bit of water noise. There's a lot of good things in this walk. I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to go back the opposite way from where I came. I came here on the other side of the river. I'm not crossing back over it again. I'll go up this steep banking. I'll show you what I came up. I had to come down on my bum to get down this. That's pretty steep. I'll be careful going up, hold on to the trees, and then I'll just go straight up the forestry track where the Bones Hydro is and come back down that way. I'm not going back to the river again. I'm so chuffed. Okay, Dave the Rave from Benlister Falls. Adios, over and out. Oh, well, hopefully you can hear me. I'm a bit out of breath. So I've just come up that hill. Very steep, hands and feet in some places. Having to come up. I'm fit, but I'm out of breath. But look how high I am. That's the real view. I'm not zooming in at any point here. That's Holy Isle and Lamlash in front of me, and the mainland beyond. Absolutely perfect. So far away. Look how far away it is. We'll bring the camera down. That's Benlister Valley. You're going. It's in the middle of the picture now. That's where the burn's going. Down that channel down there. Benlister Valley, leading down to Lamlash, with Benlister Falls just on the very right of my picture. Put it in the centre now. About down there, right down there. Hundreds of feet below me. And the valley just carries on up there, levels out over there. I might even go up a little bit more just to see the view over the top. In fact, I think I will, just since I'm here, and you can see the mountains beyond as well. I hope you can hear me. There's some view, quite windy because I'm almost at the top, but that's to be expected. Amazing. This is me coming back down towards Lamlash now. Still a cracking view, but I'm much closer than I was before. I don't know if you can get an idea of the steepness of this path, but this is the very steepest bit of the path up on this side, and it's almost unrunnable. There was a running race up here last year, an Arran Runners race, unbelievably, on this terrain. I'll try and hold the camera flat. So it's just very, very steep. And if you parked a car sideways on this, it's so steep, I imagine that you'd be scared in case it started to roll, tumble down sideways, you know. That's the kind of steepness of it. I have run up this slope a few times, but the only thing you're doing is making sure that you're not stopping or anything to the pace. It's just so hard to come up here. What a view of the massive and a perfect day for it today as well. Lovely and sunny, green fields below. Some sheep in the field down there, but an awful lot of the sheep will be taken in now for lambing, so some of the fields are empty, and you can see the church spire, fat foliage sticking up, it's the highest thing in Lamlash, and the main road going up over the hill to the heights and Whiting Way. This is a good track. This is one to take vehicles up to the hydro dam, so it's a proper road really. It's not a forest road, but it's steep, but it's good underfoot, so I'm quite enjoying walking around, and I'm glad to get back. Be glad to get back and get my lunch. I'm a wee bit tired from my adventures there. Showing my age. I don't feel like I should be tired, but then it's something to do with age, isn't it? You always think that you're more capable than maybe you are. So anyway, I am quite sleepy now. I'll go back and get a cup of tea and get some lunch, and put my feet up. Well, I'm back down at Glen Kiln. I've gone in a big circle, and I'm chuffed that I did it. I've enjoyed my walk. Like I said, I'm a bit tired. I don't think it's helped that I've had my boots on, my Calmac boots, because they're very heavy and they're steel toe capped, and it's made my feet kind of heavy. So it's made it a bit more laborious than maybe it could have been. Probably have to get some hiking boots. I'm just used to running everywhere, that's the thing, so I don't actually have hiking boots. I just wear my Calmac ones. But I've enjoyed it. I'm just a bit more tired than I expected to be. The waterfall was all that I expected it to be, and I didn't expect to see so many on the way up. There was plenty of water in the burn, just like we thought, and they look great. So hopefully I will go back again another time. That's the burn in front of me now. Back at Glen Kiln, everything's peaceful and quiet. There's the sheep in the field, a wee quad bike coming towards me. A lot of sheep in this field. And in the distance, the houses of St Molio's, which were only built about 10 years ago, and that church spire behind that as well, a mass church spire sticking up. Wherever you look, you can always see that above everything else. Looks like good fun with the quad bike. Is he rounding up the sheep? No, it's just coming towards us, that's it. Perfect really, isn't it? Lovely, lovely scene. Okay. going to go and fill my tummy up now with tea and food. Cheers.